Before we dive in, here's another show you can enjoy in the True Story FM family of entertainment podcasts.
Hey, movie lovers, I'm Pete Wright.
And I'm Andy Nelson. We are the hosts of the Next Reel Film Podcast.
If you're passionate about films like we are, you'll love our show. Each week, we dive deep into a movie, discussing everything from the story and performances to the cinematography and score.
Not to mention budgets and awards. We have covered iconic series like Francis Ford Coppola's The Godfather trilogy, examining themes of power, family, and the dark side of the American dream.
We've explored the works of groundbreaking directors like Catherine Bigelow, discussing her mastery of tension.
We've looked at heist films, great car chases, great years in film, couples on the run, and more.
Our discussions go beyond the surface, examining what makes each film tick. We believe that when the movie ends, the conversation begins.
And we'd love for you to join that conversation. Find the Next Reel Film Podcast on your favorite podcast app or at thenextreel.com.
The Next Reel. When the movie ends,
our conversation begins.
Do you ever get to the end of a movie where the hero had to make a difficult choice, and all you want to do is talk to people about whether they made the right one?
Watch an episode of Star Trek and spend the next few days thinking about the rights of synthetic beings like Data and the Doctor. I became a co-host of the Superhero Ethics podcast because I love those questions, and the people at Wendy's are tired of hearing me talk about them.
We're not a review podcast. We're more interested in questions the characters face and how different works approach similar questions. Sometimes we'll even go behind the camera, talking about how on-screen media gets made and how that affects what questions get asked, which ones don't, and who gets to ask them.
We hit a wide range of media: movies, TV shows, books, and video games.
You can find us under Superhero Ethics wherever you listen to podcasts or go to theethicalpanda.com. But you can also do far more. We love listener feedback and we'll happily talk about your questions or comments on air, and members get special bonus content.
Hashtag not sponsored by Wendy's.
Hello and welcome to Gank
Gank
That
That
Drank.
Drank.
It's the podcast. It's the Supernatural Drinking Game podcast where we drink along to the drinking game rules we made up for one of our favorite episodes of our favorite show, Supernatural. And we talk about the episode. We talk about how the drinking game rules played out. And then at the end, we tell you what's coming up for the next episode.
Boom! That's the gist. But who are we?
Well, I'm Krissy Lenz, one of the directors at the Neighborhood Comedy Theater in downtown Mesa, Arizona. And who are you?
I am Nate McWhortor. I am a performer and teacher at the Neighborhood Comedy Theater in downtown Mesa, Arizona. And I am drinking a beer that tasted a lot better when I was drinking it on Saturday.
Oh,
But then I started
no.
thinking about that I drink it after I drank several other different beers. So that's generally the case, I think.
Yeah,
Is it
beer
the-
always
is
tastes
always
better
kind of-
after other beer.
I took a sip of this. I'm like, oh no, this tasted a lot better the other day. Why? Oh. It also flew home, this beer.
Oh, okay. What is it?
This is from Manhattan, Kansas. This is the Wabash Easy Drinking Ale. It is actually what we call in the college football world, Krissy, an NIL beer.
What does that mean?
NIL it stands for name, image, and likeness. So college players can, as of a few years ago, sign deals with companies, whether they be big companies, but mostly local companies, to use their name, image, and likeness to sell their products. Colleges, however, have what are known as collectives, which are groups of boosters that set up funds for NIL. So they will set up these funds to be able to, give to businesses to pay. Anyway, it's a way to get players to your school. So when I was at Kansas State University in Manhattan, Kansas, so a lot of schools have taken to making beers, partnering with local breweries to make beers and sell beer in the grocery stores and restaurants, and proceeds or portions of those proceeds go to the NIL fund. So anytime I'm at a school that has an NIL beer, I tend to buy it. So this is the Wildcat NIL Wabash Easy Drinking Ale, 4.8%. and it's okay.
Whose name, image, and likeness is on it?
It's no one's name, image, and likeness is on this particular can. The fact that I bought this can, the proceeds go to the general fund at the school that will then go to
The players?
the players for, basically goes to the players.
Okay.
A fund to pay the players. So that's I have a collection now of NIL beers and beer cans from different schools, and so I brought this one back from Kansas. The side of the can says Wildcat NIL is a vital part of the future of Manhattan, and they are proud to support their student athletes. Wildcat NIL can helps build a future of sustained success and championships in Manhattan, Kansas. So the Little Apple representing here.
Okay, cool. It's weird that it doesn't have anyone's name, image, or likeness on it.
You know, that's why I love college football, because nothing makes sense.
Nothing makes sense.
Yeah, nothing makes sense. You're right. You could, if you're living in the Phoenix area, you can go to either Burrito Express, and you can get the Burrito, which is named after Cam Scadaboo, who plays for Arizona State.
Oh, I loved him.
Yes, he is amazing.
Scadaboo.
Scadaboo. Or you can go now to a Cold Beers and Cheeseburgers anywhere in the Valley, but not the one in Tucson. And you can get, I think they have a Scadaboo burger of some sort as well. So those are other examples of NIL deals where, yes, the name, image, or likeness is actually associated with the specific thing for a specific player. But then schools collectives have general. Can't say schools because it's not actually the universities. It's the booster collectives that then set up funds to be able to basically entice players to come to the schools and say, "Look, we've got X amount of dollars for you that will pay you, and then you'll be, you'll do a 20-second spot for the sandwich shop or whatever, or for Greg's car company or anyway, so did not expect this to turn into that amount of discussion about college football and NIL. I was mostly wanting to highlight the Kansas part of the beer, since it is a supernatural drinking game show.
It is.
And I wanted to mostly highlight the fact that I'm drinking a beer from Kansas.
Yay! I'm drinking a White Claw that's from Basic Bitches Everywhere.
Heck yeah, from the far West Valley in their giant production facility. One of their 3 around the country. I could go on and on about White Claw, but I won't, because we have an episode to watch, Krissy, and that episode is my episode tonight. It is, we are back on the Chuck Wagon. We are in season 5, episode 4, aired October 1st, 2009. The episode title, contrary to what happens with the show, is called The End.
Yep.
But the show does not end here. It goes on for 10 more seasons.
Yep.
And written by Ben Edlund, and of course it stars one of his namesake characters, and so
Carver Edlund,
in a sense. But we have some drinking game rules, Krissy, and I'm gonna go through them now.
Lay them on me.
Our first one is drink when they drink. Anytime someone's drinking, we're drinking for BM scenes.
Okay.
We're always playing the Gank rule.
Always. They say Gank, we drink.
Yeah. Since we are doing the Chuck Wagon, when we see the Chuckster, take a drink. Anytime we get some Deanception.
Deanception.
Anytime someone says a year.
That's the heavy hitter.
Yeah, it's a lot. Anytime we see some Croatoans die.
Okay.
And then anytime there's a Zach attack, that's anytime Zachariah pops up. We are taking a drink.
And there's one more.
Oh, there is. It's a shot, right? This isn't written down.
For Sexy Satan Sam.
For Sexy Satan Sam. I couldn't remember if it was Satan Sam or if it was for Hippie Cass. Yes, taking a drink for sexy Satan Sam because, gosh dang, they need to dress Jared Padalecki in a white suit
More often.
way more often.
Yep.
Way more often.
Put him in a suit.
It's striking.
Yep, he
I
looks
know we're
good.
spoiling the end of the episode, but it is striking. He is so tall to be wearing such a white suit.
It's so much white. He's like
It-
a billboard.
It makes you realize that, like, oh, tall people don't wear white suits. That's like just not a thing. Like, they probably wear mostly dark colored suits because, man, when you're that big, boy, it's bright.
It's bright.
All right. Let's get into the episode, Krissy.
Let's get into it. I'm so excited for you to tell me this episode. I didn't remember this episode when you were first giving me the rules, but then as I watched it, I was like, yes, this is one of my favorite Cass episodes.
Yes, it's great. It's an episode where they give Misha Collins' poor voice a break.
Yeah.
So we get our then. Our then is mostly gonna lay out just important things we need for this episode. The boys have broken up after the Lucifer's rising. The band has split up. They've gone their separate ways. And then we kind of get some stuff about the cult. Remember the cult? Oh yeah, it's the thing
Remember
that
the
can kill
cult.
anything. Remember the cult. And then also there's this thing. I'm so bad. I should have pulled it up, but Croatoan from a previous season is a deadly virus that spreads, and we had to deal with
It's
it.
a virus of demonology.
Yes, a virus of demonology, and it spread, and it turns people into monsters, and it's bad. So that's our then. That's pretty much what we get in that. We cut to Kansas City now, and it's Dean talking on the phone with Cass. He's walking into a diner, and some Jesus guy is like, "Hey man, you want it?" And he's like, "Nah, cram it, whatever." I don't remember what he actually said. I didn't write down what he actually says, but he tells him to shove it, and he's on the phone with Cass, and Cass is like, "All right, I'm gonna come to you right now," and Dean's like, "No, I just need like
4
to sleep.
hours of
I
sleep,
I
yeah.
need 4 hours, and I will see
Which
you in
is
the
not
morning."
enough sleep, Dean. It's not enough sleep. You got to get a solid 8.
Well, he doesn't even get that.
Nope.
So we we keep the but Cass is saying something about the cult, like I guess the demons have the cult or something, and Dean's saying like it's they would have melted it down by now, and Cass is like, well, it's not what I'm hearing. He's like, why would they keep a gun around that would kill them? That's stupid. So almost knocked my stuff off. All right, so we're hanging out. So then, yeah, basically Sam's like, I love it. Cass is like, I'll just wait here.
Mm-hmm.
I'll just stand here, and I just imagine the whole episode, Cass, just standing on that corner on the
Waiting.
street,
Waiting like he does.
Yeah. So we cut to Dean, who's asleep, and he gets a phone call, and he answers it, and he goes, "Cass, what'd I tell you?" And it's not Cass, it's Sam on the other line. He's like, "Sam, it's like 4:15 or almost 4 or whatever in the morning. What time is it? Time for a beer. Next shot, fridge
Yeah.
opens. Dean's
Take
getting
a
a beer
drink.
at 4:30 and having a drink. We're taking a drink. We're also taking a drink because it's a BM scene. Sam wants
It
back
is.
in. Dean says, nah, dude, we're oil and water. We can't be together. It's just the way, like we could do this 1,000 times and it'll all go bad because of the two of us being together. It's like real martyr stuff from Dean going on here. And martyr stuff because
Yeah,
he's
as
like
Bobby would say, he's
angry.
real whiny.
He's real whiny. He's the I don't like this overall fight between the two of them. I think
And they
that
have it so often. It's just so often. In the episode I did last, in episode 9, in season 9, they're still like, we need to not be together. And it's like, just get over it.
Yup. But this one is for like just seems like I don't know. But I don't know. It obviously you got the whole demon blood and the ruby and it's hard for Dean to get over. So he's just I guess they're taking their time, but that's kind of the point of this episode. We'll get into for sure. So, yeah, we're better off apart. Goodbye, Sam. Supernatural. Sorry, not yet. He goes back to sleep. Dean wakes up. It is apocalypse outside.
It's real apocalypse outside. There's like turned
Super
over
apocalypse, yeah.
cars. There's like trash everywhere. There's barrels. Like, I don't know why the apocalypse comes with so many barrels, but there's
Yeah.
barrels and like cages and just like
Yeah.
bumpers everywhere. It's a real bleak scene.
And then whoosh, Supernatural title card. So we have a good chunk in our pre-title card sequence. It does say now playing on the marquee outside in the apocalypse world outside Dean's hotel window. It says now playing Route 666.
So they made a movie out of the Supernatural book?
Yes. Yes. It's such a great little Easter egg that I was like, this is amazing. And it's not even like listed in the wiki. I should add it. But yeah, I just thought that was a cute little thing that I saw. So we cut back to this episode. As I go on, so we have Dean. This is Dean from 2009. He's now in 2014. He sees like a sign that says containment area as of October 1st, 2014. So he's 5 years in the future. And he's in this containment zone, and he sees a thing that's spray painted that says Croatoan, and he's like, "Oh no, that's not good." He sees like a little girl who he thinks is hurt or needs help, and nope, she's a Croat, and she screams, and then he punches her, but then attracts like a bunch of other Croats. So some Croats die. One Croat, I guess she didn't die. They're about to die. So they chase him. He runs. The army pulls up and just shoots them all and like straight up like Apocalypse Now style, like plays a bunch of music and takes them all out and like, yeah. So a bunch of Croats die. Dean escapes the gunfire somehow, doesn't get killed and escapes them seeing him, I guess, as well. Yeah. So he gets out of there, and I guess this is yeah, now this is where we get our first Zach attack. Zachariah comes in and says, "Hey buddy, welcome to the future. If you don't say yes to Michael, this is what the future holds. This is what you can look forward to. You got to be here for 3 days. We're going to leave you here. We're going to let you marinate," he says. Kurt Fuller. Love it. We're going to let you marinate. See what your choices will bring, see what you've wrought upon the world, and maybe you'll change your mind. You'll say yes to Michael. And he's saying this while they're driving in the car, and he's reading a newspaper, and it says Sarah Palin, President Sarah Palin.
President, yeah. If only that was the worst thing we could think of.
Recently
dig her up. Can we have Sarah Palin for president?
Watching this episode, I think it was the day of or whatever. Maybe it was the day before, but just was like, oh yeah, I'd take President Sarah Palin. I think it was like right after. Anyway, I was like, oh, at this point, maybe it would, maybe it wouldn't be worse. Who knows? So yeah, President Sarah Palin. Oh, let's check out sports. Oh, that's right. No sports. Congress banned public assembly. Well, what's left of Congress, I'd say it's hardly a quorum these days. Some great, just love the monologues they give Zach on some of these episodes. It's fun.
He's great.
Yeah, they write him so well too. I give all the credit to Kurt Fuller, but he's written very, very well. So Dean goes to Bobby's to see where Bobby's at. Well, he sees a picture of him at camp. I did not write it down, but it's some sort of Native American name that
Chippewa or something like that.
I wasn't going to try because I didn't want to do any disservice to the name. So yeah, I wrote Wichipee. I don't know. I can't read my own handwriting. So he goes to this camp. Dean goes to this camp. So for the rest of this episode, I'm going to be referring to the Dean I've been referring to as so far as D9. Okay, and D9. Then I will refer to the other Dean that's about to punch him as Dean 14 or D14, if I might just shorten it because that's how my notes are written.
Okay.
Dean
I'm
14. So
in.
Dean 14 and Dean 9 or 09 are going to be our two characters. So Dean 09 is looking at babies like, what'd they do to you? Then he gets punched and we zoom up and it's Dean from 14. And we cut to Dean from 14 has Dean from 09 all handcuffed up. And he's starting the interrogation process. I know you're not a shifter. I know you're not a demon. I know you're not. I've done all the tests. You also have every single switchblade and knife and trinket I've ever had on me. So do you want to explain all that? And oh yeah, the resemblance while you're at it. We get some great. This is all Deanception, by the way. So I kept the punch and the talk as two separate Deanceptions.
Take a drink.
Also, I'm not going to, in the recap, say every time they said a year because it was a lot. So
it was a lot.
We'll just count those at the end. We'll tally them at the end. So because it's a lot of, but you're from 14, and he's from 9. Anyway, so yeah, they have this talk, basically of like, I'm you from 5 years ago. This is Zachariah playing around with me, trying to make me say yes. We don't get it at this point, but you can definitely see Dean 14 really like considering this and what's going, and like this whole thing is like, oh, this is interesting. This opportunity has been placed on my plate. Well, I've got a mission to do, so I'm gonna have to leave you here, and then I'll be back from my mission, and I guess I'll figure out what to do with you because I can't do this whole parent trap thing.
I love. That's a great pop culture reference.
Yes, there are actually really good pop culture references in this episode. Could have gone with that as a rule. But so yeah, he's gonna leave Dean from 09 locked up. He says, "You don't trust me?" He says, "Of course not." He's like, "What a dick." But of course, Dean from 09 escapes by these two boys' fingernail health when you're a hunter has to be one of your top priorities. Because you have to always be able to scrape at some wood or something. Like these guys
and
have
yet their fingernails get yanked out left, right, and sideways.
Yeah. He rips a nail out of the floor, gets out of the handcuffs, starts making his way around camp, and that's where we see Chuck take a drink. Who's just going over like a list of supplies or something, like he's Dean from 14, but he's not Dean from 14, but Chuck doesn't know that. Or does he?
No, he doesn't.
I think he does. I 100% think he does. I 1,000% think he does because I think he's basically making Zachariah do this whole thing. And so I think this is him essentially checking up on the process, making sure it's going well.
Okay.
Anyway, so while he's talking to Chuck, this woman who we've never met named Risa comes up and tries to like punch Dean from 09. And he's like, "Oh, what'd I do?" He's like, "I don't even know her name." And she's like, "You were in Becky." It wasn't Becky. I didn't write down the name. "You were in so-and-so's cabin last night."
Cabin, yeah.
When you said that we had a thing.
We had a connection.
And he's like, "Was I?" And Chuck's like, "Yeah, you were. See? Chuck's omniscient. He knew. He knew that." So Dean's like, "Okay, well, you're kind of crazy, but whatever. Bye." So and that's when Chuck is like, "Wait, aren't you supposed to be on a mission right now?" Mm-hmm. Sorry, that's after he talks. He goes to Cass, right?
Yeah,
that's after he goes to Cass. So, Chuck asked him that. He goes, "Yeah, I'm supposed to be, but like, I gotta go see is Cass here." He's like, "Yeah." So he goes and sees Cass. Cass is in a cabin, surrounded by a gaggle of young attractive women who all look like they just got done doing yoga. Yeah. And he's just like
He's explaining to
philosophizing.
them about how the connection between the spiritual and the metaphysical is surprisingly physical.
Yes, and that he will see them later on for the orgy.
Mm-hmm.
And we get hippie Cass. He's a total love guru, hippied out,
Yep.
chilled out, patchouli smelling. I'm assuming
Looking pretty good.
looking
Pretty
good,
good.
and sounding not like Cass, sounding like Misha
Nope.
Collins, not
Yep.
like Cass. Giving his voice a break for one episode.
For one sweet episode.
And so Cass sees him and he's like, "Whoa, what's up with you? You're not from now." He's like, "That's right. I'm from 2009. We gotta find basically like what's going on, like the Croatoan, the like." I truly don't. I mean, I guess other than for us to get to see Cass, I don't super understand why. Oh yeah, because Dean wants him to fly him back. He's like, "Strap on your angel wings, fly me back to 09, get me out of here. This is Zachariah's doing." And Cass is like, "Yeah, I can't. I can't I would love to just strap on my wings, Dean."
Yeah. Not gonna happen.
Not gonna happen. So it's funny that, and I get why, it's for narrative reasons, but like it's just like everyone just gives Dean little parts of information in this episode. No one gives him the whole. It's like, it's a Wonderful Life.
Okay.
It's a Wonderful Life in that it's like, this is what your life could be without you. This is your world.
Yeah.
But
I see
it's
it now.
also just like, it's I don't like how we're just like, someone tell him everything, even though you all know all the things, but you're just giving him little bits of information. Like Gas could be like, "Yeah, no, angels went away. I haven't had any juice in a while," but that doesn't come till the BM scene much later on. This is when the Dean 14 gets back from the mission that he went on. Dean goes down to where they're coming in, I guess, which is like, I don't know, the geography of this camp is also interesting. And so they get back, Dean's going down, he's like gonna, I don't know, go talk to the D14 whatever, and Dean 14 just shoots a dude from his team, and Dean 9 is like, "No, wait, don't, look out, guy." And the guy turns and the guy shoots him. 14 shoots him in the face, and 9's like, "Why'd you do that, man?" He's like, "Because he got infected." He's like, "How'd you know?" "Because I've been doing this a long time now, and I know when people are infected, and it's easier just to take them out and not inform them, because then, like, don't trouble a good man with bad news and all this." And so it's like, this 14 version of Dean is obviously so much more calloused and so much more road weary and world weary due to the apocalypse
he's seen
happening.
some shit.
He's seen a lot of shit, and so he's a little unhinged compared to Dean 9. So Dean 09 is like kind of taken aback in this moment. He's like, "I can't believe this is what I turn into." Cass is tickled by Dean from 09, as we see in the next scene when they're all kind of sitting around talking about what to do. And Dean 14 obviously has to explain to everyone what is going on. I'm not going to lie, the situation between him and me is real messed up, he says. We get we get Dean from 09 or 14 saying this is what the mission was for. It was for the cult. We went and got the cult. Now we're going to go shoot the devil. Cass is saying that this is not even just a suicide mission. He uses some sort of other vocab word I don't remember, but it's a really good one.
Yeah, it's a good one.
It's a good word. He's Camp Chautauqua, by the way. I just saw it on the wiki. Camp Chautauqua. They're basically, it's like, we're going to charge in. We know where the devil is. Well, how do we know? We got it from a demon. Well, how'd you get it? Oh, our fearless leader has intrepid ways of getting information. Oh, torture. We're torturing again. Real classy. So we get a lot of like interesting Deanception here. Well, we're about
Yeah,
to get the
good
real
Deanception.
Deanception in the next scene because like everyone leaves except the Deans, and then the Deans are talking to each other, and we get actually a BM scene here. And this is where, because in the previous scene he asked about Sam. 9 asked 14 about Sam. He goes, "Oh, I haven't talked to Sam in 5 years. From what I heard, he, big battle up in Detroit he lost." Well, we find out then in this scene, speaking of not giving all the information, we're freaking Obi-Wanning it up in here, is, oh yeah, well, when I said he lost a big battle, it means Lucifer. He said yes to Lucifer. Oh, okay, so we're about to go have to kill Lucifer, which is Sam.
Which is Sam.
Sweet. That's awesome. And also we torture people to get this information. This is like nothing is good. And Dean from No 9 is like, well, why are you taking me? He's like, yeah, this is why I'm taking you. I need you to see that it's Sam. I need you to see that you have to say yes to Michael. I need you to say yes, because if I could go back and do it, I would. And he's like, well, that would torch half the planet. Well, it's better than no planet at all, which is what we got. And so they have this back and forth, and they have this BM scene, and they have this it's really good. It's Jensen acting against himself. Pretty good.
Yeah, it's great. Jensen is doing an expert job.
Yeah. And so it's a good scene, and it's very tense, and okay, fine, we're loading up, and I guess we're gonna go gank the devil.
Let's go gank him.
So before we leave, we get Chuck. In this scene, by the way, where the two Deans are talking just themselves, they are drinking, taking drinks during the scene.
Oh, were they?
And 14
I wonder if I noticed that.
14 definitely says, tonight I'm gonna ice the devil, and like takes a big old swig of booze. So so Chuck is like basically saying like, okay, goodbye Dean from 09, and he's like, but when you get back there, hoard
your toilet paper.
Oh, toilet paper, hoard all of it. Krissy, we are in the year 2024 as we record this.
We are.
I know that my theory has been all along that Chuck is that they've known all along that Chuck is going to be God, and that all the supernatural exists as Chuck just creating it, and ultimately by making Chuck God, that it retroactively makes him. I did not expect in one of these episodes for me to think that maybe Chuck is God in our world too.
Maybe he predicted it 11 years before it happened.
I mean, anyone who's been in a place that's been hit by a hurricane or a big, snowstorm or whatever, people obviously go and they hoard eggs, milk, bread, and toilet paper. That's kind of and then propane as like the big things that people go and hoard when it looks like it's going to be. So it's not, but it is funny that we did have a time and that is not funny. It is this thing about this episode in particular, especially, is like, you're like, man, it's the fact that it's Croatoan, that it creates the apocalypse,
a virus,
the virus, that like there's a lot of 2020 things that you're just like, oh, it didn't seem like we were too far off from this world happening.
And we're still not.
And we're still not, yeah. So we're on the mission. We're there. We're at where the Satan, by the way, is located in the middle of a hot zone. So of course it's going to be surrounded by demons and croats. We're right outside the hot zone. There, second floor window. That's where we're going to go in and get him. 9 says to 14, "Can I talk to you?" He goes, "Dude, WTF? What are you not telling me?" And he's like, "You and we're going to go in the back. All our friends here, they're the decoys. We're gonna lead them to the slaughter, and then we're gonna go ice the devil in the back." And Dean from 9 is like, "Hell no, I'm not gonna let you do that. That's stupid. These are your friends. Why would you do? I would never make this decision. You're completely off your rocker. Something's broken in you." And he says, yeah, you're right. And he punches him and knocks him out. Next thing you know, Dean from '09 wakes up and there's a bunch of gunfire and everything and bullets. And then he goes in and we have
Sexy
sexy
Sam.
Sam standing over Dean right after he snaps his neck and kills Dean from 14 with real easily, and then turns around and goes, "Oh, you've traveled a long way." Wait, first says, "Hello, Dean," and then you've traveled a long way to come here, and we get this great back and forth, but really the monologue from Satan Sam and Padalecki kills this monologue.
It's
The
delicious.
bedtime story that Dean didn't want to hear, says that he doesn't want to hear, is all about how I loved God too much. It's the same story that he tells Nick to get him to say yes to Nick, but it's in a even more embellished version of this story. I love that we're getting it multiple times, and depending on who it's for, it's changes every so little, just like the devil would do. So yeah, he says, I loved God too much. He had this beautiful planet, and he had it, and he let these imperfect things. He made us bow down to these imperfect things, and I just went, why? They're going to destroy this planet. And of course, look what you all did with it. And so yeah, and then he says, but because then Dean's like basically like, kill me now. If you don't kill me now, he's like, no. He's like, we will always end up in this place. We will always end up in this position. It's Sam is always going to say yes. I know you're never going to say no to Michael. You know, but we will always end up here, you and me. And he's like, but if I kill you, I know there's so many good lines. He's like, kill me now. Wouldn't that be redundant? Why would I kill you? But yeah, so Satan Sam is so calm this whole time. I think Padalecki does a really great job of getting, gosh dang it, Mark, the guy who plays Lucifer normally,
Mike Pellegrino.
Getting his kind of ticks and things in there. I think I appreciate that anytime one of them plays as Lucifer. They try to kind of like take some things from him and incorporate them for sure. But yeah, so yeah, we get this great scene between Satan Sam and Dean, and it's just this BM scene between Satan and Dean, but it's also between Sam and Dean is just like, can't believe what is happening. I mean, tears are streaming from his face. He does not want to believe that any of this is happening, and that he's gonna have to kill Sam, but he can't. Like, that's the one thing he knows he can't do. So as long as Lucifer is in Sam, he's not gonna be able to. And of course, like us as the viewers, we are screaming at our TV this whole time. The answer is so simple, you stupid idiot. You go back to 2009 and you call your friggin' brother.
Yep. Give him a call.
That's what gets me about the Angels plot on this, is that their whole thing is like, you have to say yes to Michael. You have to say yes to Michael, or this is how the world comes up. You have to say yes to Michael, or this is how the world comes up. Not, hey, you should just reconcile with your brother. Otherwise, he's definitely going to say yes to the devil. You need to be there. Otherwise, he's going to be weak. So the angels are just as bad as the demons, because they're basically trying to be, they're on a path of negativity. They're on a path of destruction. That is their MO. And rather than being positive. So I think that this is obviously the test from Chuck is really like, are you're obviously like, Sam going for the devil, or like saying yes to the devil, is something that like probably would happen to anyone, because it's the devil, and it's just, that's the way the devil works. But like, are you strong enough to say no to the angels? Are you strong enough to know that you are in your own virtuous enough to handle this and do this on your own, and you don't need the angels, and as long as you have each other, you can do it. And I think that's ultimately, again, why I think this is a Chuck lesson, because it's Chuck saying through Zachariah, almost like using the guise of Zachariah, saying that this is how the world will end, to basically like get Dean to realize, no, I need to reconcile with Sam to stop this.
Right. Except like that's Dean's choice is to always to be like, okay, so you told me I have to say yes to Michael. I'm not even going to regard
What
your
is it?
I'm
That is
taking the
what I'm saying.
lesson
I think
and
we're led
being
to
seen for
believe
your
that in
will.
this moment, but I think as soon as you make Chuck God, Andy's in this episode. Andy's like, that's all I'm saying is it it can be taken when you have that as the device. You can then be like, oh, this is just Chuck messing around and giving these guys a test, which is fine too if that's the case. Like, and we will, as we go down this Chuck wagon path, and we get out of season 5 eventually. Actually, I think right after this, we will get into. There are episodes where there are lines and there are things that I really like, kind of just then rub me the wrong way with how they go about it, and we'll get into that later on. But we need to finish this episode right quick. Yeah. So basically, Satan Sam says, "See you in 5 years, Dean," and he disappears. And then Dean's like, "What the heck?" And then Zachariah pops him back to 2009, and he's like, "Okay, are you ready? Do you see now? Are you ready to say yes?" And just in perfect Dean fashion, nah,
Nah. No,
I'm
thank you.
good. You can cram it. So Zach starts to like really lose his cool, and that's when Cass swoops in, picks Dean up, and swoops him away. And he's like, "Oh, thank God." He's like, "We had an appointment." He's like, "Don't ever change, Cass."
Yeah.
I did miss on our way to the big battle. There was a Cass and Dean BM scene between Dean 9 and
Yeah,
Cass.
where he tells him
Cass.
about the angels leaving and
Yep, yeah, where he
why
tells him
he's
about the
such a
angels.
lush now.
Yeah. And he says, like, I just, what happened to you, life? He says that earlier, but yeah, it's an interesting BM scene between Cass and Dean for sure, especially that version of Cass and then Dean.
I love it.
It is, but it's not like super jokey either. It is pretty poignant. It's pretty sweet, I think, actually, between the two.
I agree.
Glad that the stick's out of your ass, but like, what's up with the drugs? What's up with like, and it's this hopelessness. That's what's like kind of the most interesting thing about this version of Cass is like he's this hippie, but it's this hopelessness that he has.
Yeah.
It's not like he's a hippie embracing life. He's more of a hippie embracing death.
Yeah.
Because I guess he's surrounded
The
by it.
inevitability.
Yeah. So yeah, Dean says no to Zach. Cass whisks him away. He goes, how did he find you anyway? He goes, let's just avoid some Jehovah's Witnesses from now on, because that's how the angels found Dean. Was they put out feelers to their most devout, fringiest groups of people and sent them a picture of Dean and said, if you see this guy, let us know. And so the guy at the beginning of the episode, when Dean went into the restaurant, that's who saw him. That's how they found him, in spite of the engraving, Enochian engraving on his ribs that hides him from angels. So yeah, all the fun contraptions and devices the show has to go through, that it
It's
like
pretty good. It's pretty great.
itself up in, and like, well, how'd they find you? Shoot, we got to come up with a way how they found him, because we set up a few episodes ago that they have these engravings. Yeah, let's avoid Jehovah's Witnesses. And he's like, so what are you gonna do now? Something I should have done in the first place. the the tone of this final scene, the music, the sexual tension.
Uh-huh.
If you knew nothing about this show and I showed you just this scene between these two gentlemen, holy cow.
Yep. It's off the charts, baby.
It is, yeah. The shipping, like, it's no wonder the shipping for these two goes on, because like I feel like the show leans into it. I
think
feel
so
like they
too.
really lean into it.
They're winking at it.
So Dean standing under a bridge, leaning against Baby, just waiting. The music is like straight out of the end of some 80s romance movie. Sam pulls up in a beat up older car. We get the shot that's just like the boot stepping out of the car. It's just the way it's shot, the way it's paced, everything is so funny. It just cracks me up. And then he's like, if you want back in, you might want this. It could be rusty. And he hands Ruby's knife back to him, and basically the boys are back in town. The boys are back together.
Back in town. The boys are back in town.
They decide they're going to make their own future. And so that is the end, but not the end. That was the end, the episode, the end.
The episode, the end. Yep. Oh, great job, Nate.
Thank you. Krissy, how did the rules play out?
Okay, I'm betting we're going to be a little bit off of each other.
Probably.
Okay, someone drinks 4 times?
I got 4.
Okay. How many BM scenes did you get?
I counted 5 BM scenes.
I counted 4. I think I didn't count the one between the deans.
Yeah, so I got Sam and Dean at the very beginning. I got 9 and 14 having theirs. I got 09 and Cass. I got Satan, Sam, and 09, and then Sam and Dean at the end.
Okay. Yeah, I missed one.
I think the 2 talking to each other. 1 Gank.
1 Gank. 2
Chucks.
2 Chucks.
How many Deanceptions did you get?
5.
I weirdly had 6, but then I only counted 5 on the second go round. So I wonder where my 6th one came on my first go round. So yeah, could 5 or 6. How many times did you hear someone say a year?
6 times.
I also got 6.
Okay,
Sweet.
Good.
Croatoan's die, I got twice.
I got twice.
And then I have 2 Zach attacks.
I have 2 Zach attacks. I have 4 times someone says Croats.
4 times someone says Croats.
And I took 2 sexy Sam shots.
Heck yeah. God, they really need to dress him in a white suit more often.
Yep. If only. If only.
All right. Krissy.
What's coming up next?
What is our next episode?
We are rocketing back into the past. We're going all the way back to season 2, episode 15, Tall Tales. Tall Tales.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Take a drink anytime someone says bitch or jerk.
Okay.
Take a drink when they drink. Take a drink when someone dies. Take a drink when Sam does research. Take a drink if someone says 669. Take a drink for an alien slow dance or a mention of an alien slow dance. Take a drink for what I'm calling an angry BM scene, aka a fight. And take a drink anytime someone says urban legend.
Nice.
Those are the rules for season 2, episode 4, Tall Tales. Season 2, episode 15.
Okay,
episode
cool.
15. Tall Tales. All right. Thanks for sticking around with us till the end. We appreciate you. Nate, tell the people where they can find us in the real world.
In the real world, you can find us at the Neighborhood Comedy Theater in downtown Mesa, Arizona. Go to nctphoenix.com for any showtimes, tickets, dates, deets, information, details. All about the shows and things we got going on. Come check it out. Come take a workshop. Come do a drop-in workshop on a Saturday.
Do it.
A jam on a Thursday. Like, we got stuff. Don't let the fact that I'm yawning now mean that it's not exciting.
And if you're here with us at the end, that means you want more Nate and Krissy. You want to know more about us. You want to get inside our little noggins and dig around. So sign up to be a member. You get every episode a week early and without any ads of any kind. You get other special fun, like you get some bonus content at the end of the episode. So just go to True Story FM and find our show amongst their plethora of shows. And when you're on Gank That Drank, just click become a member. It's only $5 a month or $55 for the whole damn year. And while you're out there in the world saving people and hunting things, the family business, be sure to keep the Gank That Drank motto in mind. Be excellent to each other and party on, dudes. What's up, Supernatural superfans?
It's Nate and Krissy, your hosts of
Gank That Drank, the Supernatural Drinking Game Podcast.
It's the podcast where we make up drinking game rules for a favorite episode of our favorite show, Supernatural.
We recap the episode for you and let you know how all the rules played out.
Then we let you know the drinking game rules for the next episode, so you can play along.
But we want to talk to you today about becoming an exclusive member of Gank That Drank, a Supernatural drinking game podcast.
Becoming a member is just $5 a month. It's easy to do, and it helps keep the podcast going, bringing you more fresh drink to gank. Or gank to drink, whatever.
One of those two. Plus, members get every episode early and ad-free,
with some extra bonus content at the end of each episode as a member exclusive.
We play games, we talk trivia, we chat about what we were watching besides Supernatural.
We talk about our lessons learned from each episode, and sometimes give you a geographical zoom in on the towns or areas the episodes take place in.
We have fun! Ha 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 ha! And we gank those drinks, and we want you to be a part of it.
So join us and become a member at truestory.fm/Gank That Drank.
And when you're out there in the world saving people and hunting things,
the family business.
Keep the Gank That Drank motto in mind. Be excellent to each other and party on, dudes.